Hi, everyone. Good morning. It's 10 o'clock here in the Philippines, 9 o'clock there in Vietnam. Thank you very much for joining us in today's session. This is the meet and match where we're going to experience and hear more about a lot of the different global brands wanting to enter here in the Philippines. Let me just share my screen quickly just to introduce ourselves. My name's Chris Lim. I'm the president of UFranchise. We're the Philippines' largest franchise matching company. So we've been here for about 12 years. We basically do free consultations with people wanting to find a franchise. We work with over 150 local brands and another 100 plus international brands. Some of you might already know us because you've talked to us about a lot of the local brands looking for franchising. But today is really about international master franchise. You know, the Philippines is the 7th largest franchise market in the world. And that's why so many of these global brands from the US, Israel, Europe, Southeast Asia, all want to enter here in the Philippines. And today we selected some special brands, a mix of food brands and a mix of education brands, which we feel will actually do very well in this new normal that we all face. And so with that, I did want to introduce to you our partners in today's event. So we work with a lot of global partners, and I've been working with VF and Sean for quite a few years already. In fact, we've helped some of their brands come here into the Philippines. And they have access to some of the best global brands out there. And that's what we wanted you to have access to. And today, really what happens is for the next hour, we'll be talking more about some of these brands. And some of you might have already signed up for the one-on-one consultations later on. If you haven't, feel free to send us a message in the chat box so that we can try to book you some time with both Robert or Sean, so you can discuss in more detail some of the brands you're looking at, and maybe even ask about brands that may not be presented today. Maybe they can also show you other brands that you may be interested in. Well, with that, I wanted to turn it over to Sean, who'll kick it off by sharing a bit about VF and start sharing about some of the brands that they work with. Thank you once again, and may we all find the new business opportunities and continue being our own boss. Thank you.
Thank you for the kind introduction, Chris. It's always a pleasure for our company to be working with UFranchise. There is a reason we work with UFranchise. You are the best franchise consulting company in the Philippines, and it's not been recent. It has been over decades, and we're very fortunate to have you as our strategic partners. To everyone else, if you are not familiar with me, my name is Sean No. I am the CEO of our company, VF Franchise Consulting. Next slide. And what we do normally is we assist international brands come into Asia, and that includes Southeast Asia, or in our region we like to call it ASEAN. Which includes markets like the Philippines and Vietnam and Singapore, Indonesia, Thailand, and the like. And we normally do these types of events where we do business matching events. I know Chris calls it meet and match. And we normally do this in person twice a year with UFranchise in the Philippines, in Manila. Unfortunately, given the times that we are in, this is not possible. And in fact, if you can see that first picture on this slide, you can see us, you can see Chris and the entire team, as well as some of our key clients that flew to Manila in one of these business matching events to meet one-on-one with you, which we are obviously doing virtually this time around. And then secondly, some of our key services include franchise services that include sales and marketing. Again, we help many different brands, not only from the US, but many brands from within Asia, as well as brands from Europe and Australia as well. For example, today we have a brand called Delifrance which is from France, France's largest bakery, restaurant, cafe, and with over 250 units worldwide. We also help younger businesses become franchisable throughout the region. And again, if that is something that is interesting to any of you, we certainly can explore that as well. Next slide. So today, Robert and I will be going through all of these brands. We have 12 exciting brands, a lot of them in education, and certainly a fair amount in food and beverage, because everywhere we go, food and beverage is always a hot segment for that country, and the Philippines is no different. So we will start with Little Caesars. For each one of these brands, what we will do is we will play a brief video before we actually talk about the specifics of each brand. And again, if you are interested in learning the specifics for any one of these brands and you have not already registered for the one-on-one meetings later today, please do so. You can enter your comments in the chat box, and our team will contact you, message you privately to set up a call one-on-one. Okay, so let's start off with Little Caesars Pizza video.
Little Caesars lunch combo is ready when you walk in, so it's perfect for busy people. Isn't that right, busy people?
Yes!
At Little Caesars, we begin each day with dough made fresh from scratch in every store. And your lunch is always hot and ready, so you don't have to call in your order and wait. Get 4 slices of hot and ready deep dish pepperoni pizza plus a soda for just $5. Little Caesars, world's easiest way to pizza.
Pizza, pizza.
They are the 3rd largest pizza chain in the world. They are in 24 different countries and counting, including Singapore, as well as India in Asia. And they're doing fantastic in Singapore. They have over 3 stores already, with another 2 stores scheduled to open in the next few months. In India, if you know anything about India, it is a massive pizza market, even in these times. And in fact, let's talk about the elephant in the room, and that is COVID-19. What we have found in the US as well as worldwide is that many of the franchisees for Little Caesars are experiencing record level sales. And the reason is because the stores in many countries are considered essential because they provide food and affordable food, value propositions, and also because they also do takeout and delivery. Now, many pizza companies today do takeouts today. They do delivery. What is different about them versus Little Caesars is that Little Caesars has been doing takeout for over 60 years. It is their core business model. You come to their stores, you pick it up, you go back to your home, your office, to any other location that you wish to enjoy your pizzas, and you can enjoy a 12-inch pepperoni for less than $6 US in Singapore today. In Singapore today. In many markets throughout Southeast Asia, we would expect that the price for a 12-inch American-made, freshly made, fresh cheese, fresh flour, fresh tomato sauce, everything fresh, made to order, and all of that would be under $5 US. So it is absolutely the best value proposition. And in fact, in the US, Little Caesars Pizza has been considered the best value in America for over 11 years. And the pizza industry, as you know, is widely accepted all across Asia, and obviously in places like the Philippines, where it is very, very popular, and also a great sharing food with friends, colleagues, and families as well. And again, just lots and lots of awards for Little Caesars. And, you know, for the most part, for the last few years, their main focus has been in the US, where they are continually continuing to grow and one of the fastest growing chains in the US. Now, keep in mind that they have over 4,500 stores in the US today. And in fact, if you look at the US footprint, they dominate the pizza industry in terms of pizza sales in 30 of the 50 states. It is a phenomenal brand. And of course, in these times, it is a very appropriate brand that tends to do well when people face difficult times, specifically economic times. So on to our next brand. And our next brand is called Delifrance. So let's go ahead and watch a brief video of Delifrance from France. So that was Delifrance, and Delifrance is perhaps the world's most recognized French bakery and cafe in the world. There are over 250 stores worldwide. It all started in France 100 years ago, and today what we have found is over the last decade, Delifrance has been modernizing their franchise concepts. And today they have two different types of models. One they call a bakery restaurant, which is approximately 75 to 250 square meters. And also what they call their kiosk type concept, which is called the Comptoir Express, which is about as small as 15 square meters all the way up to 80 square meters. Today, Delifrance, you can find them throughout the region in Asia. More specifically, they have master franchisees in Indonesia and Malaysia. And of course, the master franchise opportunity is available in the Philippines. We like to call Delifrance, what we like to call it is a restaurant that merges great ambiance, affordable, reasonable prices, not low end, but affordable, reasonable prices, and provide great French cuisine and service. And this has made them very, very successful throughout the world. And let's face it, who doesn't like French pastries and desserts? I certainly love it and enjoy it. And of course, the cafe experience, the French coffee, it all comes together in this nice, phenomenal, historically based French cuisine, French franchise that will do extremely well. It will stand out amongst the crowded bakery restaurants and cafes that you see in the marketplace today, because most of them are not truly French. And this is truly authentic French. And the folks at Delifrance will always tell you that they don't sacrifice quality. Quality is something they insist on, whether it is in the food, whether it is in the raw materials and ingredients used to make the food, and of course, quality training to provide a superior service. So if you are interested in Delifrance, again, please in the chat box, note your comments. And if you haven't already booked a time, you can do so now, and we can talk more about it later today. And now on to our next brand. And our next brand is Qooco, the first of a few education training franchises that we will be covering today. Let's watch a short video from Qooco.
Sorry, sir. Do you know how I can get to the subway station? Metro, the underground train.
No.
Underground?
No.
Underground train?
No. Sorry.
Excuse me. This way, sir.
This way to the train?
Yes.
It's nice. Thank you. Gracias.
Look at our classroom.
Look at our classroom.
Oh, it's so dirty.
Oh, it's so dirty.
Let's clean it up.
Let's clean it up.
Okay, I'll clean the board.
Okay, I'll clean the board. Look at our classroom. Oh, it's so dirty.
Okay, you may start the test now.
So as you can see at the Qooco Club, the students bring their own iPads or Android devices, and what they are doing is they are learning English online. And so this app can be downloaded from Google or Apple iTunes, and basically students for 15 minutes a day can learn English anywhere, anytime. 5 days a week. Now on the 5th day, what they do is they attend a 1-hour session at what we call a Qooco club. And a Qooco club is a little bit different than your typical classroom because there are actually no classrooms. And students can come there. They are grouped into similar levels. They get a 10-minute session with what we call a coach, a tutor, who advises them on their strengths and weaknesses and provides them with ideas and guidelines for certain extra activities that they can focus on to improve their English. So the goal is to learn English very efficiently. We know that children lack a lot of time when it comes to learning another language. They usually have to go to their typical normal school. In addition to that, they are taking other extracurricular activities and classes, whether it is STEM-based like mathematics or science, whether it is in sports or music or arts or dance. There are lots of reasons why children today do not have time to learn another language. And with Qooco and the ease of making this learning process where all you need to do is 15 minutes of learning a day on your mobile device, at home, in your car, at your parents' office, anywhere where you have a spare 15 minutes. It is an amazing application. And because of the partnerships they have with Trinity College London and the test that Trinity College London provides to students worldwide, not only to Qooco students, but worldwide, what they found was students who attended the Qooco program have scored enormously better than students who have attended other schools, because the main advantage of Qooco is that they are delivering listening and speaking skills to students based on an international standard and based on millions of hours of research and databases of how English is spoken not only in the West, but also in Asia itself. And one of the most powerful things about Qooco too is that it also does the same thing in Mandarin, that other international language of business and travel. So between English and Mandarin, you're basically covering nearly half of the world's population when it comes to an international language that is acceptable to over 4 billion people. So a phenomenal concept, lower investment costs. In fact, to build a Qooco club in China today is well under 50,000 US dollars. So many of their franchisees already, over 70 Qooco clubs already open in China, over 50 have been signed and waiting to open. They've done phenomenal in the past 2 to 3 years. And so fast returns, lower investment costs, definitely something that you should consider if you are in the belief that digital education is the wave of the future, and many people do. So enough with that. Again, if you're interested in Qooco, go ahead and make your comments and we can schedule that time if you are not already scheduled for today. On to our next brand. And our next brand is a brand called Mathnasium from the United States. Let's take a brief look at the video about Mathnasium.
My happiest moment in my life is spending time with my family.
In 3rd grade, she was starting to struggle in math.
I was really frustrated with some of the problems.
What would just 1/7 of 42 be?
Questions that were maybe more open-ended in nature.
I don't know.
We just felt it was really important that we immediately took action.
Remember, the whole thing equals 16 and we cut it into 8, right? She struggled with a few concepts such as, multi-step word problems, but
10 times 10?
she really did put in the work.
She took her first unit test in math and she got a 97%. So we were just beyond excited.
Mathnasium did change my life a lot, from math being my worst subject in school, and now math is my best subject in school. Whenever the next unit test comes, I'm ready to conquer it.
You got it, perfect.
Mathnasium, changing lives through math.
Now, Mathnasium, as mentioned, is a US brand. It is a phenomenal math-based franchise globally. There are over 1,100, actually. There are over 1,100 learning centers worldwide and in many, many different countries. And it was all started about 40 years ago from its founder. And really, what we have found is that in every country we visit, STEM-based topics, in addition to the English learning programs and franchises, STEM-based topics like mathematics is always very, very important, especially in these parts of Asia where we all live, right? And a good example of that is Mathnasium in Vietnam. Mathnasium in Vietnam has a master franchisee. They have many, many learning centers open throughout the entire country, and they're doing extremely well. They have, on average, 500 students per center. And those centers are actually not that big. And so what you find is, again, lots of interest from parents who want their kids to excel at math so that they can obviously get into the right universities and eventually get the right jobs, right? And so math is a key component of that. And that is no different whether it is Vietnam, the Philippines, or Thailand, or Singapore, or Taiwan, for that matter. So Mathnasium focuses on grade levels 1 all the way up to 12. So again, from primary to secondary schools, you will find that a lot of the students are using Mathnasium's proven method of learning mathematics. And in many countries, the students come to the centers twice a week, and they learn math for 2 hours at a time. So a total of about 4 hours per week, okay? And now on to the next brand, Scholastic World of English. Now for Scholastic World of English, we wanted to show you a video of the brand, but unfortunately the video is well over 5 minutes long. So due to the limited format of this presentation today, we will not be able to show you the video, but of course we can provide more information about Scholastic for you a little bit later today. So if I ask anybody, you know, if you've ever heard of Scholastic, the vast majority of you will have heard of the brand. You may not remember it, but as soon as I say it, you will know. In fact, many of your books in your schools that are in English are published by Scholastic. Scholastic is the largest book publisher and distributor of children's books throughout the entire world. And they have books all the way from pre-K all the way up to grade 12. You may notice that some of their books are quite popular. You can see that the Harry Potter series, the Hunger Games series, and millions of other books for young children as well as teenagers, you can find that Scholastic is a well-known brand. It is a $1.6 billion company in the United States. It's a company that is listed on the New York Stock Exchange with a lot of history. You know, when it comes to English, Scholastic has all the repertoire that is needed to offer a very, very successful franchise targeting young learners today. So the young learners, the age groups that they are focusing on are between the ages of 3 and 8. And in China and Saudi Arabia, where they have over 200 learning centers and have grown over the past 5 years, they have done phenomenal. And a little bit of differentiation for Scholastic beyond just the enormous brand that they have worldwide is the fact that in a Scholastic World of English Learning Center, because it is driven by technology as well as local facilitators, there is absolutely no need for a foreign English teacher. In many English programs, a foreign English language teacher is very good if the programs are being supported and the teachers are being well trained, like they are in many of our brands. But for the vast majority of the English learning centers, many teachers are quite young. They have very limited experience, if any at all, in teaching English or any other subject. And the issues of getting visas and recruitment and retention is a very difficult and very expensive process. So what Scholastic has done is taken that technology and projecting it on a smart media board to ensure that every lesson that is being delivered is based on best practices. And a local teacher, right? In Vietnam, it would be a Vietnamese teacher. In Malaysia, it would be a Malaysian teacher. In the Philippines, a Filipino teacher that has some bilingual skills can deliver the course, because it is made to ensure that children get a quality education, even if it is with the most inexperienced teacher in the center. And so again, it's a proven process. A lot of the pronunciation, the grammar, all the things that are typical to a great English program, and that shows great results. Scholastic has delivered in over 200 plus centers around the world. And we look forward to the opportunity to take it to the Philippines. The master franchise is available. Now that's the end of my presentation. And I know that Mr. Robert here has quite a few more brands in F&B and education that he will be sharing with you shortly. So to quickly hand it over to Robert. Robert, please take it away.
Thank you very much, Sean, and thank you, Chris. So my name is Robert Beausoleil. I am the Director of Business Development and Franchise Operations for VF Franchise Consulting. I work based out of Ho Chi Minh City along with Sean and the rest of our team. So I'd like to thank both speakers previously and having me join them. And I do have several brands to introduce to you today. And I think that you're going to be interested in some of them for sure. So the first brand that we're going to talk about is Helen Doron. And before I get into their individual brands, because we have 3 brands that are from them, I want to talk a couple of minutes about the company itself. So Helen Doron has a more than 30-year history. They have more than 100 master franchisees, 1,100 learning centers in more than 38 countries. So they might be one of the largest brands that we represent, especially in the education field. They have a lot of experience. They have a massive team spread out across the entire globe, and they have more than 3 million current students. And they have 3 different products. So obviously they have the English centers, which we'll speak about first, but they also do kindergartens, and they also have a math program. So let's talk about the English first. And we do have a video to share with you. There is a lot of advantages to Helen Doron. With their long history and their sheer size of their company, the resources that you can take advantage of are really second to none. They have more than 1,000 songs. They have more than 100 games. They had 10 plus apps. They even have a streaming radio station for teens. So no matter which of their brands that you're looking at, they have the resources to support you. We know that it will do well in the Philippines. And what they focus on, while traditional classroom with a teacher, what they do is really give you the best trained teacher training program in the industry. So their focus is to teach the teachers how to effectively use the program to teach the students. And their program is very engaging. So they have more than a 90% retention rate. They've won a lot of awards, international awards over many years because they do such a fantastic job. The kids actually want to go to class because it's not dry, it's fun, it's motivating. They use songs, they use movement to really engage the students and help them learn. So that's the Helen Doron English program. It does cover all ages, right from 3 months of age all the way up to 19. And the last thing I want to mention is that they are willing to sign small area agreements for all 3 of their brands. So you don't have to be a large company who has the ability to open 20 or 30 centers across the entire Philippines. They will sign small territories with just 3 to 5 English centers or kindergarten or 5 math centers. So with that, we'll ask for the next slide. So now we'll talk a minute about the Helen Doron kindergarten. Their kindergartens are already in 4 different countries, and it is has all of the same advantages of the resources that have been part of the Helen Doron group. So all of those songs, those apps, they have parent apps, and it's quite flexible. So their kindergarten model can be very small kindergartens, in a normal shop house targeting about 100 students. They can also go all the way up to very large kindergartens, 1,000 plus students, and they can do a full international program, all using the Helen Doron materials, all in English. But they can also do a bilingual program where you're taking the local Tagalog language, for example, the local kindergarten curriculum in the Philippines, and merging it with the international resources from Helen Doron with their science and their math, their English programs, their movement program, their music program, and merge them together to really have an effective bilingual program. So it's another fantastic brand from Helen Doron. They are educators as opposed to business people. Their whole focus for their company for more than 30 years has been to effectively teach children. And you will see that in every single thing that they do, and that's makes them one of my favorite brands. And it will be effective in the local market to improve the English level, to improve math, science, music, English in their kindergarten. And we have a short video as well for their kindergarten.
As a parent, you always want the best for your children. You want them to reach their full mental, physical, and emotional potential. Your first step is to help them take their first step on the right path. Helen Doron Kindergarten is a unique English preschool from the Helen Doron Educational Group, which has been teaching English to children around the world for over 3 decades. Together with our specially trained Helen Doron teachers, your children embark on a joyful journey of knowledge that challenges and stimulates their natural learning potential. Having taught over 2 million students, our proven methodology allows children to learn English in the same natural way they learn their own mother tongue. In our maths and science programs, your child will discover how the world works and her place in it. Watch your child blossom as he also discovers his inner world through creativity and imagination. At Helen Doron Kindergarten, music and play are an essential part of all our activities. Diverse musical styles that will enrich your child's learning experience and emotional world. Furthermore, a healthy mind builds a strong body, and a strong body builds a healthy mind. Your child will exercise fitness and motor skills through a wide variety of movement activities such as dance, yoga and Pilates. In our kindergartens, every child enjoys nutritious, balanced meals that are so important for the development of their growing minds and bodies. Acquiring wholesome eating habits at an early age gives them a healthy start that will accompany them throughout their lives. Scientific research shows that the first 6 years of a child's life is a critical time for learning. It is the time the brain creates neural connections that will serve them later on in life. Join us. Give your child the opportunity to walk the path that will allow them to fulfill their potential and be whoever they want to be. Helen Doron Kindergarten. The journey begins here.
This isn't just any ordinary local kindergarten. They have a fantastic balanced program, everything from the menu all the way through all the activities to the methodology. It's all been developed based on their 30-year history and all of their educators. It's a fantastic program, and we'd like to discuss more details with you later in the one-on-one sessions. So now we'll move on to the final one from Helen Doron, which is their MathRiders program. So MathRiders, also from Helen Doron. This program is designed to teach math, and it is really focused also on children. So age 2 right up to high school students up to age 19. It is also available in small territories, as I mentioned earlier, starting with just 5 centers. So you don't have to be a huge investor or part of a large group that's capable of expanding these particular brands over the entire Philippines. Your city, your part of the city is just fine. Now, why MathRiders? Again, they can leverage all of the wonderful resources from Helen Doron. Fantastic teacher training program that is very unique to their style. They have all of the resources to support you. And finally, and I think most importantly, is with their MathRiders, they're trying to teach math, not teach. So the MathRiders program can be taught in mother tongue of any particular country. It can use local teachers. We have a video as well about MathRiders.
With MathRiders, we don't just sit and do sums in our books. We're bringing a proven methodology that teaches children problem solving, leadership skills, their ability to think mathematically and greatly improve their results and their grades. We have a lot of songs and we have a lot of stories about the history of maths, about mathematical concept, about great mathematicians. It's discovering it for themselves so that they'll always remember it, so it becomes part of the environment of maths. It's a maths immersion system, one might call it. But on the other hand, it's self-discovery and it's also leadership skills. It's all about the results in the end, isn't it? Let's face it. But the way to it is painless. And on the way, they learn how to solve problems. Children love maths. Of course they're going to do well in Southeast Asia with this.
So she shared a little bit about her thoughts about MathRiders. It is a great program. She's a great person, an educator for a long time. And MathRiders will do very well in helping students learn math. And all three of the Helen Doron brands, remember, they have more than 1,100 centers in 38 countries. They've been successful in that type of volume, which means there's a very high chance of success as long as it's launched correctly locally to be a very successful business model today. So now we'll move to the next brand. So still staying in education, we're going to switch regions. So the next brand we're going to talk about is English Eye. This is part of the Sang Education Group, which I'll talk about for a moment. They are the leaders in Korean education culture. So English Eye is from Korea. And what's interesting is that even though it's only 5, they've already expanded to 5 countries with more than 1,200 centers. So they're the fastest growing education brand in our region because the products work. And you might say, okay, well, why do I want to study English with a, Asian-based company? Well, actually, not only are they closer, they're regional, so you can get very good support from their team, but they also understand the challenges that Asian countries have in learning language, in learning in general. And they're heavily focused on technology, which Asians tend to be a little bit more focused on and willing to accept modern technology than some of the Western countries. So English Eye is actually a self-learning system. It is focused on ages from 7 to 15, so primary school and secondary school, and they do a fantastic job. So their centers can be small. They do not need expensive expat teachers to be effective. They have a fantastic program, and I'd like to talk to you more about it on the one-on-one sessions. I know several of you have appointments booked already. Anybody else interested in language education should come and see us to discuss their English Eye program. There is a reason that they have expanded so quickly in less than 5 years. Next slide. Unfortunately, the video also for this one is longer than we can show in this brief introduction session, but I can share with you on a one-on-one session afterwards. They have one other product, so this is also from the Sang Education. This is Wings. They're present in over 300 kindergartens, and this is their program focused on preschool students. So ages 3 to 5, it has 3 complete years. And this is a blended approach. So they still use technology heavily. Each student has their own tablet, but they are in a classroom with a teacher. Of course, it can be done remotely in times like COVID-19. So they've been able to continue their education even today. Normally, it allows, the technology really allows good interaction between the students and the teacher and the classroom, very easily using the whiteboard in the classroom and going back and forth between the tablets and the classroom system, doing programs, doing their study. They also supplement it with materials, printed materials for each of their months. And they bring in a lot of STEAM education. So it's not just language using science, technology, engineering, arts, and math. And that really makes them kind of unique in the system. So I also like to discuss with you further. It is a good option for preschool, can be done very easily with small territories and small centers. I also have a video, but it's too long to show this morning, so happy to share that with you on the one-on-one sessions later. So we're going to leave the education industry and move back to the food and beverage. I have 2 more brands, and then we'll do our breakout sessions. So thanks for being patient with us as we went through and introduced some of these brands briefly so everybody could see what was we were sharing today. So the first restaurant brand I want to talk about is COCA. Now COCA is a very unique brand out of Thailand. They've been around for 63. Absolutely fantastic brand. They have a great support team based out of Bangkok. So in the region, a very good way and close to give you support there in the Philippines. They have operated restaurants under their different brands for more than 10 years already in the Philippines. So they know that market very well. Their team knows it. They know what works, what doesn't. They know all about the styles of the Philippine people. And so you probably know one of their brands called Mango Tree. It has been present in Manila for a long time. You've perhaps eaten there already. So that is also from the COCA group. Now, COCA has taken Cantonese style hot pot or suki and brought it to Thailand 63 years ago. So they are the founders actually of Thai hot pot. They're the ones who did it originally. And even today, with all the competition and all the different companies who are doing this hot pot in Thailand, nobody matches the suki sauce and the tom yum soup base that you can get at COCA. So they're successful in 15 different countries with about 70 restaurants, most of which are all across the Asian region. So it is a food and a flavor profile that is familiar to people here, and one of the reasons why it can be so successful. A couple other things about COCA that make it unique is that they blend some of those Thai flavors and spices and Thai favorite dishes into the menu to make it kind of consensual for everybody. And the second thing that I want to mention is that they have several tiers. So they do have a model with a Chinese heritage style, upscale casual dining that would be for more destination, a special occasion, kind of a premium restaurant, which COCA does very well with. But they also have a second tier, which is what they call their market fresh concept. So this is good for any area, can be in a shop house, can be in a shopping mall, smaller units, lower price, more for the weekly dining, good for lunch and dinner, and targeting even the C+ market segment. So inexpensive, yet fresh, fun, great food. So one of my favorite brands in the restaurant business, and they have that long history. They know what they're doing, and they know how to do it well, both in their style of their restaurants to make them appealing, to their menu to make it tasty, and yet reasonably priced. They have a lot of happy franchisees that have been for a very long time. So very successful. They're very interested in bringing COCA to the Philippines, and we'll be happy to talk to you about it later. Also, video a little bit long, so we won't be sharing a video right now about COCA. So let's go to the last brand. So the last company that I want to talk to you about, or last brand, is called Mango Chili. So this is all the COCA group. This is their latest brand. So it doesn't have the, they take advantage of that same 60-year history, the same team, same chefs, but this is a newer concept for them. And it's really targeting younger people, working professionals, and it's designed to bring Thai into a fun, vibrant, eclectic sort of restaurants, very fast casual, not quite QSR concept, but very fast. And they serve that Thai street food that everybody loves so much. Those curries, the pad thais, the satays, the quick, easy to make, inexpensive Thai food. It's good for the budget conscious, so very good for a price conscious market like the Philippines. They can do some very unique and cool things. They're okay with local draft beers, for example. They're okay with more of a cafe model if it's in an area that breakfast and lunch would be useful. They have a wide menu to choose from. So there's some flexibility on what dishes are on the menu. They'll work with their local franchisees to make sure that match for whatever city or whatever territory you're looking at. They also will do small development schedules with Mango Chili. So you don't need to be part of a big group. They'll consider a territory with just 3 restaurants. And the restaurants are not that expensive to open. They can do just in a QSR counter, 30 to 35 square meters, focused on delivery and takeaway. They can do more of a cafe style in the 80 to 120 square meters with seating for around 40 to 50 people. They have great food. It's fun. It's young. It's interesting. It would be very unique. And I'd like to talk to you further about it a little bit later this afternoon. So that's the end of our presentations. I'm happy to have been able to introduce you to our various brands. So now Sean and I and some of the other team members will be breaking out into individual rooms. A lot of you have scheduled one-on-one meetings with us already. So we're happy to go into a little bit more detail about any of the brands that you would like to discuss. If any of you have not yet scheduled a one-on-one meeting with us, please contact our team in this main room. You can tell us who you are and what brand you're interested in, and they'll get you scheduled in to speak to someone on a one-on-one meeting. So thank you for listening.